winning blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less. Kansas City Chiefs.
Welcome, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. This is 5 minutes or less with the Kansas City Chiefs. Got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. Now, normally I would start here with the high point, but this is a little bit different. I'm going to start with the low point of the season because I feel like the high point and the low point for the Kansas City Chiefs in this season are one and the same. But I want to start with the low point of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the low point of the season, without a doubt, was the lowest point of the season for any team in the National Football League. It was the lowest point of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it was the lowest point of the season for the National Football League as a whole. I'm talking about the Joe Von Belcher murder-suicide tragedy. That really shook the NFL to its core. It changed the lives forever of many Chiefs players, staff, and many players around the National Football League. And so that in itself went way beyond football. It wasn't about football anymore when that happened. It was more about people and, how this sport can change you and what people go through. You never know what anyone is going through. That was, without a doubt, the low point of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. So you look at the high point of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the high point of the season resulted because of that tragedy. The Chiefs rallied together around one another. They came together as a group. Romeo Crennel did a great job. I think it was his finest hour as a head coach in the National Football League. He really did a great job of getting his guys to understand that there was nothing more that they could do. And now they needed to play for one another to get through this tragedy. And that's exactly what they did. They went on the field. And a team that wasn't very good in the 2012 season was able to go out and get their second and final win of the season versus the Carolina Panthers. And it was a game that really saw this team come together as a collective group, as one, as a locker room of brothers, banded together for one common goal, for 1 week. The Chiefs weren't a bad football team. And that was the high point of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. So you look at free agency activity for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs have a little bit of money to play with. So for the Chiefs, it's test the waters.
The waters.
Because don't let the 2-14 record fool you. I know Bill Parcells has trained us to look at teams as what they are. Your record says what you are. You are what your record says you are. It's what Parcells told us. And for the most part, he's right. But this team is laden and laced with talent. Don't be fooled by the 2-14 record. This team just didn't have any direction. And they turned the football over way too much. But with Andy Reid now as your head coach, with Alex Smith now coming in as your quarterback, with John Dorsey as your new GM, there's a new direction in Kansas City. And I tell you what, if you go out and you make some more moves in this offseason, re-sign Brendan Albert maybe re-sign Dwayne Bowe. Wow, this Kansas City Chiefs team could be awfully dangerous. Don't be afraid to spend money on guys in-house and also test the free agent waters. So the state of the fan base for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see. New head coach, new GM, new quarterback, new invigorated feel in Kansas City. It's extreme optimism.
Optimism.
Because you feel like, hey, why can't we get back to 10-6, 11-5, and win a division like we did in 2010? And it's very feasible. Because The Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of talent. You're getting Alex Smith. You've got Andy Reid as your head coach. You've got John Dorsey in the general manager's booth. You've got guys that know football and that can give this team something that they lacked in 2012. Direction. Extreme optimism. You hear that sound in the background? That means that's the Kansas City Chiefs in 5 minutes or less.
Kansas City Chiefs, 5 minutes or less.